Eddie says, Hey Doug and fellow brothers, what would you recommend for a size frame? The Fit BMX I have is a 20-inch frame. Every time I try to manual, it keeps slipping from underneath my footing. Why is that? Very good question. Very good question. I have this whiteboard here and I could like write on it and stuff, but it's got stuff on it. Basically, if it's a 20.00 inch top tube, now don't get confused because a lot of people assume like a 20-inch bike, which is generally is talking about the wheel size, is a 20-inch top tube, and that's not necessarily the case. So double check that your top tube is actually 20 inches. But anyway, if it is 20.00 inch top tube and you're like any taller than 5'2", it's going to be too small for you. And it's just going to be really responsive. Like when you have a smaller bike like that, you can maneuver it really easily. You can throw it around, abuse it. But it comes to a point where it's counterproductive because when you go and try and do it, it's like it's too responsive for you. And so it's impossible to control. And that's why, say, dirt specific bikes have a longer chainstay and you ride a little bit longer of a top tube because it makes the bike more stable. So when you're riding and you want something more stable, like you need that bigger geometry. And anyway, so I don't really know your height or anything, Eddie, but basically the reason it does that, and one, the top tube's probably too short. So shorter top tube has your wheelbase. Like let's imagine this is a 21-inch top tube. This is your wheelbase. When you go with a 20-inch top tube, that brings the back and the front wheel an inch closer together. And so there's less stability there in the bike. And then the other thing is the chainstay. I think that plays a really big role in your manuals. And so if your chainstay's 13.6 and then you get a 12.7 inch chainstay, like that's 0.7 of an inch, what is that? Anyway, it's a number of an inch. I can't do the quick math. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but it makes the wheelbase even shorter. You know what I mean? And so for more stability, you want to have a longer wheelbase. And for more responsiveness, you want to have a shorter wheelbase. And with manuals, you've got to find that happy medium because if your wheelbase is too long, it's really hard to initiate the manual. You get a bigger balance point, like a wider balance point to mess with, but it's going to be a lot harder to actually initiate it. So that's a lot of information thrown at you. And Eddie, did that make any sense? Like, is that, shoot. Okay, look, I'm just telling you, going off. And he's like, I'm 5'6" and weigh 15. Like that was the comment next. I didn't even look at it. That's so funny. My bad. So anyway, yeah, you're 5'6". If that's 20.00, it's going to be way too small for you. Like you want a 20.5 or something like that. I'd recommend a 13-inch, 13.2 inch chainstay, just because like 13.6 I think is too long in today's standards. And if you have the right top tube size, a general chainstay length will be good for you. But that's my 2 cents. I hope that made some sense, Eddie.